the actual crossing of the Litani River was a very difficult operation. Our section was filed into a cliff face overlooking the limit of the Litani River and the proposed bridge, or not proposed bridge, but the bridge, and we had to be in there before the break of dawn, and we were to not commence firing until the fighting had actually started. Our job was to protect A Company, who were going to do the river crossing. We filed across this cliff face, and it was virtually a very ancient drain, and it was carved out of the cliff face. We filed into that, our 9 men, and we were quite comfortable and quite safe, overlooking the river. And when the shooting started, it was like a shooting gallery. There were various patrols and so on from the French visible over the river. So we were quite active. All was well until our Bren gunner decided that he wasn't getting his average and switched on to automatic, and that immediately disclosed our location, and we were subjected to very heavy mortaring. And the mortars, there was just enough overhang of cliff above us to catch the mortars that would have dropped on us, and we were at the front bank, which was carved out of this drain across the cliff. The bombs could actually land on top behind us, or else come on the mound in front of us. It was a bit like a rifle range mound, and we were fairly safe. They couldn't drop a mortar on us actually. But when they didn't succeed that way, they got onto us with a heavy machine gun, and that kept us very quiet. And when the first chance came to be a bit active again, the French fired a 75mm gun at us at a range of about 600 metres straight across the river. And that would have missed us by about a foot and banged into the cliff face behind us, which rather shook the eardrums up a bit. I've never been the same since. But 3 times during the day we were subjected to this one shot from the 75mm, and we didn't get out of that drain for about 10 hours. When we were called out of it to assist A Company river crossing, it was like a great relief to finally get into action. We lost our platoon commander in the first actual attack with a bullet through the wrist, and we lost our first casualty, Jim Kelly, at the same time. I think probably that night we took the feature that had been worrying us all day, and it was bright moonlight, and we were just having successfully cleared the hill, we thought. We were relaxing. I know I was. I undid my belt mark on my webbing and reclined, thinking, well, after all, this war not all that bad. And company commander, George Wright, called out, "Over here, 10 platoon." So I got to my feet, along with everybody else, and belted off along a little pathway through the shrub, and carrying a rifle by the sling position, by the trail position, which is forbidden, of course, which has the sling hanging down, hooked it on a little stump, so I went round the corner, and Farmer Jones from Kojonup, who was a lightweight, and the only man in the battalion that hadn't sharpened his bayonet, stabbed me fair in the backside, because that sort of brought that thing to a bit of a halt. So I was very fortunate not to suffer severe injury. When I was gone very little distance on, I was confronted by about a 6'4" French officer, complete with pillbox hat and the flat peak. And I said to him, call his men in, because realising that there were a lot of people underground that we hadn't realised were there. And he wasn't prepared to take any orders from a buck private, and said so in broken English. And I repeated the comment and or the instruction to drop his rifle, to call his men in. And Clary Malarkey, who's one of our boys and who was a coloured boy, said, "Let me at the bastard," and with a bayonet. And I grabbed him as he went past, and the French officer got the message that if I released him, he had a fairly sticky future. So he called his men in, and they came in out of holes in the ground and from around us and behind us, and we got 80 men actually taken by the company. And I was still sort of confronting the colonel, the Frenchman, when a figure broke out of the dark behind him, the entrance of a cavern, and ran straight towards me. And all this is taking place in about 25, 30 yards apart. So I had to make up my mind in a hurry whether to let him run onto my bayonet or to shoot him or to what. So I settled for the what. I let him get in close and then clobbered him across the side of the neck with the fore end of the rifle. And that put him down in a heap. And he said, "What do you want to do that for?" In Cockney English, he said it, of course, and it was a bit rude too. And it turned out that he was a commando who'd been captured early that morning. And he took a very pale view of the fact that I'd flattened him. But I often think that first 24 hours paved the way for the future.